Hey Val, good morning. Lil Durk is charged in a murder for hire scheme. We're working right now to get more details on this investigation, but we know the 32-year-old was arrested Thursday by U.S. Marshals in Florida and is being held in custody. Earlier this month, Banks was sued for his alleged involvement in the deadly shooting of another rapper in Chicago, FBG Duck, that happened 4 years ago. Weekly's family says Banks had a hand in that gang-related shooting in 2020 in the city's Gold Coast neighborhood. Lil Durk and his team didn't comment on that lawsuit, but of course we'll be sure to provide you with an update when we learn more about the charges Banks is now facing.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago Eyewitness News.
So Lil Durk was arrested by U.S. Marshals in Florida. Murder for hire is what they're saying. It was in retaliation for the death of King Von. And they got Quando Rondo's cousin. Now, King Von, his life was claimed in Atlanta because he ran up on Quando Rondo throwing blows. And Quando Rondo's shooter came out the cut and acted in self-defense and got Von out of there. He removed the threat. I can remember Quando Rondo going to the hospital, still trying to make sure that Von survived.
Just keep breathing a bit, boy. Come on. Just keep breathing, cuz.
Hold on, you can't move on that fast.
You got it,
bro.
my fault.
Yeah.
Ma'am, he's shot. What you mean wrong side? Come on. Come on, please. Come on, all right.
Okay.
Get him a wheelchair.
Because all in all, from what I gathered looking at the whole situation, is they didn't really want to see bloodshed. They just acted in self-defense. It just kind of happened real quickly. And that's how it goes sometimes. But the whole music industry kept saying, Lil Durk, when you gonna slide for Von? Because, you know, they were fellow label mates. I don't know if they were related or not, but they were close, apparently. They said, the whole music industry, when you gonna slide for Von? And the peer pressure was on. So it looks like that Durk conspired and got Quando Rondo's cousin lined up. And I could distinctly remember when that happened. I believe it happened in LA, and I remember Quando Rondo's blood-curdling screams as his cousin's lifeless body lied in the streets.
The streets and this chaotic scene, the ending of a shooting that started in Beverly Grove. Sheriff's deputies pulling out a man who had been shot in an SUV. This man, a passenger in that car, frantic at the sight. It all started at this mobile gas station at 5:30 Friday evening on La Cienega.
It was gut-wrenching. It was very memorable. It happened, you know, a couple years ago. And it shows you that in war, nobody really wins. Everybody's going to take a loss. But Lil Durk retaliated, thinking that that was the thing to do. You know, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And I know that a lot of you youngins think that that's the way to go, that you just got to clap back. And the truth of the matter is, Lil Durk really didn't slide. He still didn't slide for Von. He hired someone. Now, I'm from a different background. I grew up in the streets. I experienced a lot of things. And when I was coming up, if somebody took out your right-hand man, somebody took out somebody close to you, if you didn't slide yourself, It really wasn't respected. You know, people be having money, putting money on people's heads nowadays, and people think that's a flex and think that's a boss move. You know, when I was coming up, if you didn't do the dirt yourself, then it wasn't really respected. And typically, young men like Durk, they're not going to bode well in prison. That's how it ultimately ends for anyone who's not going to be the bigger person in beef. You're going to go to jail. You're going to be ran through the system. You're going to become a number. And it's too many loose lips out there. So what Durk did, bet your bottom dollar the hip hop police got a hold of it. And it's because people be talking. And when you look at some of these outlets, talking about these media outlets out here, they're always looking to cover the juicy story when it comes to who did what to who. So there's always somebody doing their field work, investigating who's responsible for this and responsible for that, because ultimately everybody just want to see bloodshed. Everybody want to see death on both sides because it's big business. It's a grimy world. And now Durk will be relegated to a cell. And I can look at Durk and tell you he ain't really built like that. I mean, look at it. The man got out of Chicago, made something for himself. And he fell victim to trying to live out these damn rap lyrics. And now look where the hell that got him. Anytime I'm able to inspire you brothers to do the right thing, I'm going to do that. It's a dead end road when you trying to live up to this street persona. See, some of us actually never had a choice. Some of us grew up in situations where we had to do what we had to do to survive. And it was real. It wasn't life imitating art, because that's what seems to be going on in the music industry. And because of some rap lyrics, initially this whole beef started because of a female, believe it or not. It all started because of a woman. And it went on and on and on and on. And that's how these beefs typically go within these streets. Quando Rondo messing with this one. King Von used to mess with that one. And then all of a sudden, 2, 3, 4 years later, bodies are still dropping in the streets. And people are getting locked up. And you got all this conspiracy going on. And all this money is being filtered right back into the hands of our oppressors. That's how it's always going to work. That's why you got to learn how to be the bigger person, even if you're very capable of doing the worst. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all capable of doing things that can be self-destructive. Anybody can do something that's self-destructive. And putting yourself out there and living by the sword. You know what the Bible say? You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Now, I'm pretty sure it's going to be some OGs off up in the prison who ain't going to have no respect for Lil Durk, as well as it's going to be other gangbangers who ain't going to have no respect. And I'm pretty sure that Lil Durk conspired with some gangbangers in Los Angeles because, you know, they all connected somehow, some way. And there's going to be some involvement with some other people too. And they haven't listed who these people are yet because they're industry plants and snitches. I have a good idea who it is. I don't want to say the name, But I have a good idea of who helped conspire and set that up. That's right. Let's just put it this way. It's one of these loudmouth podcasting in the mix of everything. One of these guys who like to shake down rappers. One of these guys who like to exploit rappers. One of these guys where you got to check in. You got to check in to go over there. And that's how it works. But see, it'd be double agents. And I mean, the game is grimy, it's shiesty out here. Now, Durk is probably going to be found guilty because if U.S. Marshals came and got him, it's because they got something on him. They got some evidence. Somebody's talking. Somebody's talking. Somebody's snitching. Somebody who has firsthand knowledge of what took place more than likely will be testifying in a situation like this. And they pretty much got what they needed. Now, the reason the U.S. Marshals came is because you got these crimes stretching from state to state, you know, and U.S. Marshals have to get involved with that. It ain't gonna just be no local law enforcement. You know, this man is labeled a threat wherever he goes, whatever state he goes. And more than likely, because of that, it won't be any bond. But this is what beef, this is the outcome of beef. Everybody loses. Everybody loses in beef, in wars. That's why it's good to come sit down at the round table and talk it out. Look, I'm just going to give y'all this message as somebody who lived that life at some point. Look, you got to be able to sit down at the table, brothers. Even if it was loss of life, there has to be a talk on how things are going to go. And it just has to be that way. You know, sometimes you got to put your differences to the side. And I've seen that happen back in the day. People, you know, it may be whole neighborhoods beefing and it might have been bloodshed over the years. But see, a lot of you rappers got to understand you got a common enemy. And your common enemy is this system that just want to see young black men incarcerated expeditiously. And they want to take all the money that you earn for your family and recycle it back into the system, to these lawyers, to the court system, and back into and put you back into captivity, put you in prison, which is modern day slavery. So that's your common enemy. That's your common, you know, enemy. So at the end of the day, look, it's unfortunate what took place, but you youngins got to understand that being a bigger person to get you out of a lot of trouble in this day and age. Anyway, hopefully I said something that helped you out in your walk and your journey. With that being said, shalom and peace.